Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, the loner decks are here for the Synchro Festival. Now I'm sure you're wondering, why didn't I do the loner decks for the Anthology Festival? And that's because they were all bad and I hate that event. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that one, we're going to talk about the Synchro event, and the decks that we have for them. We have Goaty, we have ourselves a Resonator, and we have the Ice Jade, all three of which are actually pretty interesting. They're not insanely good by any regard, but hey, none of the loner decks have been, nor are they at all interesting. But at the very least, hey, these are somewhat interesting. Resonator is probably the most interesting out of these, however, it's honestly not all that good. So we're going to talk about this one first. Resonators, if you don't know, basically spam out a whole bunch of synchro monsters, utilizing their Resonator tuners. It's technically Resonators, it's technically Red Dragon Archfiend, it's Jack Atlas, the deck, but major problem with this one, too many tuners. There are too many tuners. There are a lot of times where it's like, oops, all tuners, because not only do you have Effect Veiler as your hand trap instead of Imperm for some reason. I don't know why they decided to do that, but sure, it's fine. We also have access to a myriad of tuners. As you can see here, we have the Synchron Resonator, the Red Resonator, the Crimson Resonator, and the Creation Resonator, all of which are tuners, and we only have 9 non-tuner monsters. Everything else you would think would get you into like tuners or non-tuners, and they don't. Resonator Call grabs you Resonators, and Resonator Command grabs you non-Resonator level 4 lower fiend monsters, which is pretty interesting, but all in all, it's kind of inconsistent, and you do have to draw the tuner and the non-tuner in order to get your play started, but once you get your play started, it can be pretty good. Red Rising Dragon is absolutely insane. It is a once per turn reborn of a Resonator card that doesn't negate its effects. It's very strong. Being able to bring back Red or Crimson Resonator in order to activate its effect to add 2 more Resonators, just by special summoning them is super good, and then just get you into a myriad of things. And then the ultimate goal is to end on like this guy, or this one, or stuff like that. Honestly, there isn't really a good end goal, so there's that. But we're gonna hop into the duel and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going up first, and oops, all Resonators. Yeah, we're just gonna set the call to buy and pass. But that's okay, because my opponent is also on Resonators. They're going to activate their Resonator call to grab up the Crimson Resonator, then special summon the Crimson Resonator, and then special summon Wild Wind, as well as the Synchron Resonator. They're then going to go to pop our monster. They're going to activate the Red Rising Dragon to target the Crimson Resonator, and I'm going to call by that to banish it. If you don't know what this does, it's just targeting a card to destroy it. Because a Resonator Synchro was sent to the graveyard. They're gonna go Monster Reborn here, grab back that Wild Wind, which they will end up regretting, because the next card that I end up drawing is in fact, hold on, one sec, Raigeki, there it is. So yeah, we're going to start off with Raigeki, just wipe the field and just pass. I literally can't do anything. I don't have a tuner. My Crimson Resonator is negated due to called by. Just not a good time for me. My opponent is then going to go for the Wild Wind Graveyard effect, which then allows them to grab up the Creation Resonator, and now they can normal summon it, special summon it. No, they normaled it, and deal an additional 800 points of damage. I'm going to add another Crimson Resonator to my hand, and I'm just going to special summon it. My opponent then goes for Fiendish Chain, and then Effect Veiler, I don't... They're not the greatest of opponents, but, well, if I don't draw a tuner, or a non-tuner, which is honestly highly unlikely, it's highly unlikely for me to actually draw a tuner, or a non-tuner at this point, but, alas, here we go. Draw for turn. Oh my gosh, it's a non-tuner. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to special summon out the Crimson Resonator. We're going to activate the effect of our, we're going to activate the Resonator Destruction. Normal summon our level 4, and then go into Red Rising. We're going to go pop 1, special summon 2. Then we get to go for the Crimson Resonator and special summon out 2 more monsters. Realistically, Creation Resonator isn't the greatest, but hey, it's funny. We're going to gain 2,100 life points due to the Resonator effect. Then we're going to bounce for the Zephyros. We're going to go for the level 9 Hot Red Dragon. Then we're going to special summon the Crimson Resonator, go for the Red Rising, special summon back another monster in order to go for the Chaos Ruler at this point. Chaos Ruler is going to reveal off the top a whole bunch of monsters, and none of them really matter. We're going to grab up I guess this one, it's pretty decent. Honestly, it won't end up mattering all that much. We're going to go for the second Red Rising Dragon, activate the effect in order to special summon back another Crimson Resonator, and then go for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, which is the name of a card that exists in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we're just going to go to battle because it's funny. We're going to add back to the hand the Red Resonator and proceed to battle. We're going to punch for well over lethal. So, I don't know, good game, I guess? Alright, the second deck that we have here is Ice Jade. Honestly, this deck is also very interesting. It's a pretty cool deck if it actually gets to play the game, which basically does require you to have Aegirine or access to Aegirine with Cradle. So, yeah, if you have that, it's great. If you don't, it's kind of mid. It's supposed to be a control deck that, you know, relies on generating consistent advantage by, you know, having things like Aegirine on the field, the Gimmer Aegirine and stuff like that, with like erosion and things along those lines. In theory, it works. In practice, yeah, most of the time it does end up just kind of falling short as a control strategy. It just kind of doesn't do enough, right? Similar to a lot of other control strategies, it's like, it has good plays. I mean, Cradle is absolutely insane. It's a non-once per turn Rhoda, which is very good. So yeah, lots of cool things that it has going for it. I mean, Erosion is also just a really solid card. By popping your own card, it does trigger a lot of the other Ice Jades in like Grave and stuff like that. And Aegirine is just an absolutely insane card, as well as Aegirocassus. Like, it's fine. It just doesn't quite do enough. But I'm going to show you how the deck overall is supposed to function and show you what it does. So let's hop over to the replay. Alright, so here we are going first, and look at that. It's Ice Jade Cradle as well as Aegirine. We're going to start off with the Cradle here. We're going to grab up the Aegirocassus. Then we're going to go normal summon to grab another Cradle. Realistically, I should have grabbed the Trap here, but I wasn't really too familiar with what I should be going for here, and so we go for the Cradle. We're going to grab the Tremor and then special summon the Aegirine, then go for the Gimmer Aegirine, or sorry, we special summon the Aegirocassus. Then we can utilize the effect of the Aegirocassus in order to equip to the Aegirine to give it additional protection, set 2, and pass. Now, the reason I go for the Aegirine here, as opposed to something like a Changing here, is due to the fact that the Aegirocassus has the ability to equip itself to an Ice Jade monster in particular, so giving me access to an Ice Jade seemed a little bit better in this instance, by being able to re-equip there to then special summon itself, along with the 2 interactions and Aegirine being additional protection. That seemed like the better option. We also have Manifestation for follow-up as well. We're going to just let them special summon their monster and then go for the Aegirine effect to protect itself. If you don't know, Quick Effect, it has the ability to Quick Effect activate the effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed, banished, or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. So it's just additional protection. So there's that. My opponent is going to go for Trishula, 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier. I'm going to infip that because, while yes, the Aegirine can't be banished, my back row can. So I don't want them to banish those cards. So we're going to negate that. They're going to go for the Snopus, and then they are going to activate the effect to target the Aegirine, and it will be banished when it leaves the field. That's fine. Not really that big of a deal. I don't expect it to be leaving anytime soon. We're going to start here with the manifestation to grab up our level 10. It's just kind of there. I don't know. I wasn't really reading the well, I was reading the cards. I wasn't really sure what I should go for here. I remember there was a card that allowed this guy to, if it was equipped with said other card, attack in defense position. So I was like, sure, this should do something. I kind of ran out of time to read. I was very low on time. I read literally all of the cards during the game. So there's that. Anyway, we're going to go for the Changing here because we get to special summon out our, or we special summon out the Aegirine that was equipped there, which is why we went for that effect. Then we are going to go and activate the Aegirine in response to their different dimension ground, which then triggers the Changing because the monster or the card was banished, and then the Changing banished their Trish to add additional, or that would have floated if we had destroyed it. So we're going to walk into the rest of their cards there. They protect from battle, but that's fine. We're going to deal a whole bunch of damage. They're on 3,000. They need a tuner here. They don't grab a tuner. They decide to go and attack with the Snopus. I'm going to re-equip with the Aegirine here to boost up my monster, as well as add additional protection. Sorry, Aegirocassus. not Aegeron. We draw a Acti, it doesn't really matter, we're just going to go to battle phase and deal lethal damage. Good game! That's kind of how the deck is supposed to function. This is a little bit not how it was supposed to function. Realistically, it's just kind of generating resources over time, using the quick effect to re-equip over and over again, and stuff like that. And then the last one we have here is our previous opponent in Fish, or Goaty. Goaty is an archetype that I think most people know at this point. You banish the tuners, they special summon themselves back, and then you special summon on your opponent's turn to trigger things like your Oscon, which then banishes a monster, or Goaty of the Deep Beyond by banishing your entire opponent's field. And then on top of that, of course, you have things like Chang Ying and Baron and what have you that you can go into as well. So here's the list. It's fine. I mean, it kind of deals with like graveyard strategies and stuff like that. Assault Synchron is nice, being able to go into like Coral Dragon or in Arianpos more efficiently is decent, but you still do need to draw your non-tuners. Again, it's kind of an issue where it's like you still have to draw the non-tuners in similar capacity. There's about 10 tuners as well. The Assault Synchrons, the Paces, the Shifts, and the one Zep. I don't like just the one Zep if like we're running triple Assault Synchron, but only the one Zep seems kind of silly to me, but sure, whatever, to each their own. But then we have, you know, the triple Beatuniful and all of that stuff. And then also one Coelacanth, which is... I'm not entirely sure how we're supposed to get this onto our side of the field, given the fact that it's not something that we can just, like, normal summon or, like, special summon efficiently. It's fine. Like, yeah, you obviously can summon it. There are definitely ways to summon it. It's not like it's that difficult to summon. It's just like, you're going to summon it on like turn 3, and at that point, who cares, right? So, you know, loner decks are loner decks, but at the very least, hey, called by, Infip, Raigeki, Harpies, stuff like that. Sure, maybe we can steal a win. Let's see how this deck performs, shall we? Alright, so here we are going first, and hey, we drew Assault Synchron and Beatuniful. So we're going to start off with the Beatuniful and activate its effect to go for the Lifeless Leaffish, then we will dump the Shift. We're going to special summon the Assault Synchron and go for the Arianpos. Arianpos is then going to banish the Snowiks, because we want to keep that one Zep that we have in the deck. We also have Gold Sark if we needed to activate that as well. We're going to banish the Shift in order to grab up our Snowiks, and then we are going to banish the one from hand and one from grave of our fishes to go for the Snowiks as well. We can then target itself, set the Infip, and pass. Now we do have the Paces and the Shift banished, so during the opponent's standby phase, we're going to trigger both of those effects in order to special summon them. Now we have the ability to go for a 10, which is fantastic. So anyway, my opponent is going to reveal that they are on Sword Soul. They're going to... Sorry, that went really quick. They specialed the Ashana, set a card, and then normal summoned Ghost Spell to go into Baron. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. They're going to target my back row, to which I will just chain the Imperm. And there you go. Impermed away. They're going to try to proceed to the battle phase. I'm going to go for the Oscon here. We're going to activate the effect of our Arianpos to get the Search. And then we are going to banish the Snowiks with the Oscon to grab up the... or to banish the Baron. We're then going to banish the Arianpos to grab up that Snowiks as well. They're going to go triple tech, draw 2, and then just proceed to the end phase. I'm like, okay. Don't know what they had in hand there, so kind of interesting. We're gonna normal summon the Beatuniful and activate its effect to go for the Lifeless Leaffish and dump an additional card. Here I go for the Coral Dragon because I really want to deal with this back row before anything else really happens. And so we're gonna pitch that Raigeki, and out comes Called By. I'm just going to activate my Snowiks and special summon itself. At this point, the game is basically over. I'm going to then synchro summon for the Chang Ying. My opponent realizes that the game is already over. I have lethal on field, and they scoop it up. So, cool. Good game. Alright, all things considered, these are some pretty fine loner decks. I do think that these are at least somewhat interesting. The Resonator was not very good nor very interesting. The Ice Jade one I think is actually pretty cool. I really do like the way that Ice Jade plays. It's just not quite good enough, even in like full power, if you were to play it not just as a loner deck, but just in general in like the actual game, or even as the synchro deck. It's just not quite powerful enough. I think it's missing like 1 or 2 good cards. I don't really know what you could add to this deck. It's just kind of like a control strategy that doesn't really do enough. Kind of sad, but I really like the control strategies. I think they're very fun. And then, of course, we have Goaty. I'm honestly not a big fan of this deck. Not only is it not very fun to play, it's also not very fun to play against. It's just kind of one of those decks that's just like, I don't know. It does everything that I don't like in a deck. It's kind of hard to say. It's very one note where it's like, are you making Oscon? Cool. And that's kind of it. You're just like, well, maybe this banish does something. And then you're just kind of hoping. And then maybe the Goaty follow-up is enough and stuff like that. It's kind of a control strategy, but not really like a fun one. Because it's basically like, I'm going to play on your turn as well. And do, you know, my actual main combo on your turn. But unlike something like Tier, it doesn't actually really provide much in terms of interaction. It's mostly like, I'm going to make Oscon. Do you have the out? Oh, you do? Cool, good game. So, kind of boring. Yeah, all things considered, I think they're fine. I think these were fun loner decks. I think this event, though, is not as much of fun. It's, again, it's fine. It's serviceable. But, like, we've already seen this. We've already done this. Do we really need another Synchro event? No. But, of course, Konami's not going to come up with unique, creative ideas. And, so yeah. Also, the events have just kind of been mid. Like, they're fine. The ban lists are fine. I mean, Maxi exists, which is fun. So, you know, very coin flippy. But all in all, I think that loner decks were cool. Events, serviceable. And that's all I really have to say. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, like us very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.